All right. Welcome everyone to our Pay Status webinar today. This is Cheryl Simmons speaking, and with me I have Sandy Strong as well. So say hello, Sandy.
Hello.
So Sandy will be driving our slides as well as our demo, but today both of us, again, this is Cheryl Simmons, will be talking about all of our payroll tools, and we'll start out, of course, with our Pay Status one because that's our brand new one. We want to make sure people are aware of it, but we're also going to hit on all of the other payroll tools that we have, just because sometimes people are like, oh, when did that come out? So again, we'll touch on all of those, and then we'll take some time to do some quick demos on some of those tools as well, and then talk about a promotion that we have going on as well this month. So again, we want to make sure everybody's aware of that, because it could be certainly a good deal for you if you're looking for some tools at this time. So I want to make sure everybody's aware. So, all right, well, Sandy, let's get started. Let's talk about our first tool.
Whoops, what did I do there?
Well, I don't know.
How did I get to the end? Didn't need to jump right to the end. Weird. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Well, while you're fixing
Sorry about that.
A little bit, I'll talk about, we do have a place to enter in questions and or chat. So those are both boxes available to you as users of the webinar. And so if we're going along and you have a question on something, please put it in the question or chat box. We'll be monitoring those as we go through the webinar today as well. And so we want to make sure we get you those answers as soon as we can. And if it's something we probably need to dig into a little bit more, we'll let you know that as well, and follow up with you right after the webinar. So, all right, Sandy, thanks for getting us back here. I'm looking at Pay Status. That's the first one that we wanted to talk about. And again, this is the one that's brand new. It's been out here just a couple of months. And what this one allows you to do is basically set your default to single for all of your filing federal tax location state status. And really, it's meant for faster data entry. And the type of users that we find that use this the most is more of those in like the hospitality group, that all of their users, they want as much tax taken out as possible. And so they set themselves up as single. From a tax status requirement standpoint, and it's really just defaulting that into the window. You could still override it and change it to married or whatever you need to change it to, but that would just be the default, again, to speed up data entry. And so a simple little tool, but again, it's just like most of our tools, they're geared to fix one particular thing, and that's what this tool does. So thanks, Sandy, for sharing that one. Let's go on. Let's talk about a handful of other payroll tools as well for this audience, and then we'll go again and do some demos for some of that. All right, so next one out is max usage. And what this one gets into is on the sick leave. If you are a company that says you can only take 80 hours of sick leave a year, and then we need to cut you off, right? Then I either need to charge it against your PTO or do something else. Well, what this tool, max usage, allows you to do is put in the number of max hours per year, that'd be per calendar year, that you're allowed to take. So you enter in this case, we're doing 80 hours in the screenshot here. And then when you're entering in transactions for this person, it'll tell you when you hit that 80-hour maximum and say that you need to then enter in those transactions into a different pay code, whether that's PTO or whatever your policy is, right? So it sends you that route for that, as well as during the check. So if you imported your transactions versus manually entered them, you're like, well, when would I get an error? Then the other option is building during the check process, right? Building your check run, it would tell you, yep, this person has hit their maximum. You need to make changes before moving forward. So again, just a handy reminder, watches out for those things for you if you have some of those standards in your company that you need to follow. And again, that's all based on sick pay today. All right, let's jump to the next one, Sandy. Oh yes, Bended Max Plus. And so Bended Max stands for Benefit Deduction Maximum. And so inside of the product, so inside of GP, you can set a combination of, from a deduction standpoint, a combination, but you can't do a combination of a benefit and a deduction together and set a maximum for that. And so that's where our tool comes into play, that we can do those kind of things. And a great example is a health savings account. So if you have team members who are contributing to their health savings account, as well as you as an employer want to contribute to that, there are regulations, right, that say only so much can be contributed per calendar year. And what you can do is set it up in our new window here, a screenshot to show that of, yep, here is the benefit, and here is the deduction, and here's the maximum that would go together. So when creating, your check process, you're building up your checks, it will tell you again if you're reaching that, and it won't allow you to exceed that limit. So once you've exceeded the 3,600, it wouldn't take out anything more for that benefit and deduction. So again, a cool one, especially when you got that combination of the employee and employer trying to contribute to those. And Sandy, if you have comments or anything you want to throw in, feel free. I'm just kind of on the roll, but
no, you keep going.
All right, Pay Import Plus, and this one, you guys, I know is one of Sandy's favorite tools, and fun, right? Because it's talking about giving employees hopefully an increase, but we'll say a change anyway, to their pay, whether that's an hourly pay, a salary pay. We call it the Pay Import Plus, and for that, what you can do is, first off, getting data out of your system. So let's say that you do raises, twice a year. And what you do is create a spreadsheet. A lot of people do this manually, right? Or you start out with a smart list and dump that to Excel. Create those smart lists, dump them out, and then give them to the appropriate department heads, right? You can do that, and then have them tell you what the new rate's going to be, and then you're going to, what this process will allow you to do is it's going to create those spreadsheets for you, and you can slice and dice them many different ways. Give out those spreadsheets, and then your department heads, whoever it is, fills in the new rates that they're going to, or you can even have it calculated. If you're a company that does, I'm giving a 3% raise across the board, and it'll calculate those 3%, and then you go modify your exceptions. You can do all that in the spreadsheet, and then we import those spreadsheets back in. You choose which spreadsheets you want to be brought in, and it'll go in and validate that data and update all of those records. So really getting, and versus manually pulling up each one of your pay records and making the changes, you can have all of this imported in within minutes and be ready to go. So very cool, very slick. And on the next slide, it's just going to show you a screenshot of what kind of that looks like. Because here again, the top one where it says pay rate export on the top right portion, that's the window where you can take data out. And again, it's by department, division, location, manager, employee range, all of those you can specify, and it'll spit out the Excel reports for you. And then on the import, bringing back in, that's on the front screen here where Sandy has selected to import sheet 1, and it's bringing in the values on the bottom, and you can see the different data going across there. But the last couple columns where it says current rate, which is what's in your system today, and then there's new rate. And so there it's defaulting. And it looks like in Sandy's examples, it looks like we're giving some bonuses. I see if I go down there, we got Pilar is getting a bonus from 345 to 550 is the new rate. Again, that looks like people below there, Pilar is getting some adjustments as well from 23,456 to 24,000. And again, that easy, as well as you can have it if it's like an hourly or salary pay that you're bringing in, you can also have it update the based on pay periods or pay codes. So like if it's, vacation, PTO, sick time, those type of things, and they're based on your hourly pay record, and you update your hourly pay record, it'll automatically update your based on records as well. So pretty cool stuff. I just have to say, right, Sandy?
Yep, it is. It is one I do like.
Yes, you like to play with that. And again, you can bring it in and view the data first, make sure that you're comfortable with those changes. And as you can see across the top, there's different buttons for the import and reevaluating. So if you had to make some changes or it's giving you an error message, and those messages would be there on the right. And then lastly, you're updating pay records. That's an option there across the top. So you control when you actually physically do that data change. As well as it does keep track of the reason for the change. You'll see that listed there if you have the HR module and you're tracking that as well. So. All right, Sandy, next one.
Okay.
I know she wants to get to the demo, so she's like trying to push me along, right? Or just having a bad time. Oh, all right, so pay correct. I know that mistakes happen, right? That happens to all of us. Well, that's what pay correct is all about, but it allows you to enter in a negative transaction when you're in payroll transaction entry. Because out of the box, really, there's only a couple pay codes that you really get to do this for example, like commissions, those kind of things, where here, if you wanted to get this tool and back out something to maybe the wrong pay code and re-enter it to the right pay code, this tool would allow you to do those kind of fixes. So very cool, very select customers love that one as well. And I know we got one more, right, Sandy?
Yep, I think
All
maybe
right.
2 more.
All right, but the pay rewind, I want to make sure I get to this one because Sandy was talking about showing this one off as well. So pay rewind. So this is if you're in the payroll process and you discover that, oop, I have a mistake. Versus, doing the whole void and, bringing everything back and starting the whole process over again. What payroll rewind allows you to do is actually just return the transactions back for the employee that you're having the issue against. And then you can fix what it is, like if you forgot to give them their raise or you forgot to include something that you should have, make the fix and then go through that process again. So one thing is you do need to have Payroll Rewind loaded before you start the payroll process because it's going to keep track of where you're at in the process if you have the tool loaded, so that you can make those changes and get everything correct up and running. So again, fun favorite tool for some people because we all know that sometimes you get through the process and realize something's not right and want to make some changes. But again, not wanting to start over the whole batch process, just wanting to do that 1 or 2 employee. And we have one more, Sandy, if you want to do that payroll handoff.
Yep.
All right, so this one, if in your company you have to have a separation of duties when it comes to payroll, this is the tool for you because this allows somebody to go through and do the whole check building process, but then hand it over because it's assigned to that person who did that process. This payroll handoff allows you to hand it over to somebody else to continue on with the process and actually do the process of printing of the checks and executing those. Again, it's all of where your standard processes are, and if you require that delegation or a separation of processes, this is the tool for you. And again, very easy to get on and onto your clients for those that are doing your payroll system. So those are a lot of payroll tools, and I know we went through them quickly, partly because I want to see some of these tools in action. And so Sandy's going to jump out here to GP, and let's take a look, Sandy.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'll just remind everyone, if you do have questions, again, we have the question pane or chat pane. If you want to drop in your questions or chats there, we will answer your questions as soon as I can get Sandy to stop long enough for me to jump in. So you go, Sandy.
Okay. So we're going to take a look at pay status, and this one, there's no setup for it. So we can just hop right in. Like if I just set up a new employee, and I'm going to use my Kermit example again that was in the screenshot. So I just made Kermit the Frog for an employee, and I need to set up his tax info. We can either do it from the additional button, oops, sorry, not that, the go to button here, like go to payroll, and then go to our different tax windows, or we can do it here from the main menu. So I can click on tax and enter Kermie's ID, and you see this switch then to single. So it just makes it, like Cheryl said, a quicker data entry, but if we need to update it, if Kermit really did marry Miss Piggy, we could switch it to married, but by default, it's going to pop in as single just to make it a lot quicker for us. So we can save that, and then we can go do his state taxes and his local taxes. And it's just, you know, the same thing in all of those windows. I'm going to pick a state that I know has a local tax too. So we'll say he lives in New York. And again, you know, it defaults in as single here, and the same on the local tax window. And I'll go and pick our local code, New York City resident, we'll say, and again, pops in as single just to make the data entry a lot quicker if the majority of employees are single or want to file as single, so that you don't have to keep changing that on them. So, but if we need to change it, we can. So that is really all there is to the new PayStatus tool. Any questions about that?
I don't see any in the question panel.
Okay.
So keep
I'll go
rolling.
ahead and close these windows, and then we'll take a look at the Payroll Import Plus. So
Okay.
that one is here under Utilities. And first we'll look at the export window. And Cheryl showed this in a screenshot. So we, you know, if we just come in here like this and hit export, it's going to do it for all employees, all pay codes. But we can filter on any of these. And for this, I'll go ahead and let's just do one department, like support services. And if we want, we can export all the pay codes, or when we do our import, if we want to be able to roll things down, you know, like roll the hourly wage down to overtime or double time, roll the salary down to like holiday, vacation, those kind of things, we can just limit which ones we export here. So I'll go ahead and I'll do hourly, well, bonus, the ones that aren't really based on another one here, and then I'll get salary, and I think that should do it. And so once you have everything you want here, and you can pick multiple filters too if you want, but then once we're ready, we just click Export to Excel, and it's already done. So I click OK, and then it pops up here for me, and we've got all of these fields exported. Just minimize that a little bit. So we've got their existing pay rate amounts and their new pay rate amounts here. And so we could either, you know, manually enter the values or do a formula or any combination of that. I think I'll just, to make it easier, do equals the old one times, we'll give everybody a 5% raise. And then I'll just drag that down.
Generous today, huh? I get the 5%.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about 10. Okay.
Well,
So,
I think we should give him a bonus then too on that first one.
okay.
On the
We'll give
new
him.
pay rate. Yeah, don't you think we
Okay.
should
Sure.
give Pilar
There we go. Yeah, Pilar deserves a bonus. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of those entered, and then we can just save this. And I'm going to put it here in my folder, and I'll call it like that. So I'll go ahead and close that and close my export window, and then now we're ready to import. And so I can just come in here and grab that spreadsheet we just created, Pay Import Webinar, and then I'm going to hit Import from Excel, and that's just going to populate it here in the window. It's not going to make any changes in GP yet. So we've got our data. Go ahead, Cheryl.
The one, Sandy, I was just going to point out, you only had one worksheet there, but if you had
Yep.
multiple tabs, you could bring in, like all your managers had a tab, you could bring in all of those at once if you wanted to into her window for verification.
Yep, good point. Yeah, if there's just one tab, it does it automatically, but if there's multiple tabs or sheets on your Excel spreadsheet, you can pick which ones you want to bring in. So yeah, very good point. And then um, if we had any errors here, like if this was still at 0, it would have given us a warning about that. And so then we could fix things, because these are, like, I can't edit this information over here with their names and stuff, but I can edit these rates. And so if we had anything that needed to be fixed or anything we just wanted to change, we could do that here. We could reevaluate, and that would get, rid of any errors if we had fixed things. Then another thing here is this with the rolling down rate changes. So since we did not export all the pay rates, we just did the ones, the primary ones where there's others based upon them. We want to roll down our changes. So I picked roll down changes. We can enter the effective date and then the reason. And once we have everything already, then, oh wait, first, before we do that, let's make sure that, I'm not like, doing any smoke and mirrors here. So let's look at Pilar, for example. There we, oops, I wanted to see her pay rate. Go to payroll. That's the window I wanted. And so we can see she has no bonus. A salary of, or holiday is based on salary, so 27,300 for all of those. Okay.
All
So
right,
now,
we'll know that you didn't lie.
yep, well, no, I didn't lie. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click Update Pay Records. So this is going to update GP with these new rates here. And now it says it's complete. That was really fast. So now let me just scroll away from her and back to her. And now we can see she has a $5,000 bonus, yay. And then her, I guess I could have kept that window open to show what the new rates were, but it was 27,300 before. And so now, salary's updated as well as all the pay codes based on salary.
Right.
So very easy.
Yeah,
Very cool tool.
especially when a lot of times you only have like a week to get all those raises entered into the system and get ready for the next pay run. So
Right.
being able to import them in and then do your verifications before you start your next pay run is key. So very
Yeah.
good.
Oh, and one thing I was going to point out that I forgot to say when we were doing the export is that if you have inactive employees or inactive pay code records for employees, those don't get exported. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes, good.
Okay, so looks like we still have time to quick look at Payroll Rewind.
If you're quick.
I'll be quick. Okay, so for this one, we'll say that I already got my pay run started, and I realized before sending in the ACH file that I'd made a mistake. So we come here to the regular GP void checks window, and we kind of just add on functionality in here. So I'm going to pick my checkbook ID of payroll and then enter a range. And I'm going to do a check range here that I know, that I want to fix one in. And so I'll hit redisplay here, and then we can do one or more of these like this, and then we could put in a reason we're voiding if we need to, or if we want to. I'll just do that. And then when we click process here, okay, nope, I have not yet submitted the ACH file to the bank.
And those
Am
are
I sure?
new questions, right, that we're getting?
Well, I think these are the standard GP questions. Our question's coming here in just a second.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Keep going. Yep.
Are you sure you want to avoid? Yep. And so I'm just gonna, don't do this, always look at your reports, but I'm gonna just cancel through these since I have to be quick. And then after this, we should get one more message. There, this one is our Payroll Rewind message. Do you want to add these voided transactions? So this is going to create a new payroll batch with so it's voided these 2 transactions, and now we're going to have a new batch with these 2 in it so we can fix them. And so if we go here to payroll transaction entry and hit our batch lookup, then we have this one here with today's date, July 20th, 2022, and SA because that's the user I'm in as, and then RW for rewind. So then we can look at those and we can make any corrections we need to, and then include that in the pay run, and finish things off and send in the ACH file. So really handy, so you don't have to void everything and start over. You can just do these individual ones that need the fixing.
Excellent.
So,
yeah. And found
this
out they took pay and they actually took PTO instead of their hourly code. So
yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I think this is one of our more popular tools.
Excellent.
A lot of people like this. So that's all I had. I'm going to flip it back to you on the slides.
All right, that would be great.
There
And Sandy
we
would
go.
love to show you more tools if we had more time, but we're trying to be time sensitive as well. But before we wrap, we did want to just take a moment and let all of you know that we do have a tools promotion going on right now in the month of July, and it's a bingo buy new, get old is whatever that really bingo stands for. And we have the list of our new tools that are out. So Quick Collect, and Quick Collect is geared at the receivables of making sure that you can set it up for a customer to receive an email reminder if they get to a certain point, 60 days, 30 days past due on their invoice. It'll actually automatically send them an email. You wouldn't have to do anything besides setup up front. And it could send them a reminder again at 90 days, those type of things. So that's a new one that customers are excited to see. Pay status is one we're talking about today. Journal entry hold, that would be specifically in general ledger if you have a transaction you do not want posted. Like you want to do some verifications before those totals, but you want to make sure nobody else posts it. When they see that batch sitting out in general ledger, you can actually put it on hold, and you have to have a password to remove it. Pay import, we took a look at that one today. Sandy ran through that. And location modifier would be if you're using the Key to Act product. Location modifier is for just like customer modifier, but at the location level inside service within Key to Act. And so those are some of the new tools that we've released here in the last few months. If you purchase any of those, then you get the amount that tool is for, and apply that to an old tool. And so kind of a buy one, get one, but it's really amounts that you're doing, not specifically one tool versus the other. So if you want to, what was that?
That's a really good promo.
Yeah. And again, if you want more explanation and want to dig into that more, just let us know. That you have our website to check out all of our tools, as well as you can always reach us at that phone number, as well as on the next slide here. I know we got the sales@iscorp.biz as well. So all of our services covered there, and then sales@iscorp, as well as our phone number. Again, if you have questions about any of the tools that we ran through today, because I know we tried to hit the highlights on several of our payroll tools, Pay Status being the one that we just released in the last couple months. So if you have questions on any of those, want to see more of an in-depth and demo, Sandy and I would love to show that information to you, answer any questions that you have. But I know we're out of time today. I heard my ding. So thank you guys for joining us today on the webinar. Greatly appreciate it, and look forward to having you join some more in the future. But again, if you have questions, definitely reach out to us and we'll get those answered for you. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.
Yeah, thanks.